What's going on? It's your boy Robbie, and we are back for another react. This one's gonna be coming from my boy Omeezy. It's gonna be talking about that chick that wants an apology from Michael B. Jordan. Now, I seen this clip where he was getting interviewed by this girl he went to school with, and apparently she must have either been picking on him or wasn't really checking for him back then when they were in school. And so I guess now she wants an apology. For what reason, we don't know, but we're gonna find out. So without wasting any time, make sure you like, sub to the channel, leave your comments down below. Let's get to the video.
On the Hustle Show, we got Michael B. Jordan, the director and the star of Creed 3. And you know, we know each other. We go way back all the way to Chad Science in Newark, okay?
The corny kid, right?
No, I did not say that. Misquoted for sure.
But look at the hypocrisy, right? They're mad at her for saying someone was corny in high school that she didn't even say, and then proceed to say things 1,000 times worse than what she said.
10,000 times worse.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That doesn't even make sense.
One of my homeboys reached out to me like, oh, Michael said his bad, yo. It was an article he read, he thought you said it. But you went on all these other publications. Not only that, I have a nationally syndicated morning show. The thing that hurts from it, and this is why now I watch what I do, because I was defending him a lot. Think about all the people that were saying many things about this man. And I would always be like, nah, da-da-da-da-da. Yeah. Oh, I don't be defending people like that no more.
Whoa, let me get this straight. Now you want Oscar-winning Best Actor Michael B. Jordan to come on your platform and apologize to you because you called him corny or you used to tease him? See, it's always somebody with some colored hair. A couple years ago when the Creed 3 came out, Michael B. Jordan had an awkward interaction on a red carpet with a former high school classmate. She had apparently said some disparaging things on a podcast and used to make fun of him back in the day. And now she is behind the velvet rope looking for an opportunity or shot just to talk to Michael B. Jordan. After taking no accountability for her words and her actions at that time, it totally blew up in her face. And now that Michael B. Jordan has won his little man trophy, the Oscars that is, the clip is resurfaced. And she is back to double, nay, triple down in the fact that she is the actual one that is offended. She needs some sort of retribution and that Michael B. Jordan should apologize. Sister, if you're new to this video, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. It goes a long way for the community. Every subscription that you give to me is like an Oscar award, and I need those for when the haters come and I gotta stiff arm Heisman them from getting some type of interview. Now, back into the video. The Oscar Awards just ended this past weekend, and Michael B. Jordan and the movie Sinners, directed by Ryan Coogler, featuring Delroy Lindo, and a cast of other people, had a record-breaking weekend. 60 nominations, 4 wins. I think it was the first woman to win Best Cinematography, only the 6th Black male actor to win Best Actor in the Oscar category. It was just a phenomenal weekend. And most people celebrated these monumentous moments. But there was somebody out there who has just been throwing darts at a Michael B. Jordan poster for a long time that just could not let him live. His former high school classmate L'Oreal has a podcast, and on said podcast, her and her co-host were talking about Michael B. Jordan from the past and a little bit of how he sits in current day perspective to them. And we know how these podcasts goes. Shit, somebody was trying to get it off.
That Michael B. Jordan is just like a nice, corny guy. And I don't mean that as a slight, right? I mean, we all know that the nice, corny guys treat you the best.
To be honest with you, we teased him all the damn time because his name was Michael Jordan. Let's start there. And he was no Michael Jordan. And then he...
That's kind of crazy because you would think that him having that name would kind of get him past this, I guess you could say. Like, why would you, pick on somebody who has that name? You know what I mean? Michael Jordan was great in his craft. So, like, yo, you got a cool name. But I guess, back then, if you grew up in the 90s, late 90s, 2000s, because he's like 2 years older than me. So we're in the same age group. If you grew up back then, we used to call it hiking or snapping or whatever. Like, you really had to have tough skin, but this was a thing, yo. You know what I'm saying? Even me, I've had my fair share of people, picking on me or whatever, especially when I was going through my adolescence and acne and becoming a teenager or whatever. But I definitely was snapping back on niggas. Like, yo, I was clean with the jokes. You know what I'm saying? I was getting on everybody.
He also
who came after
would
me,
come to school with
and we basically, it was like a sport. We wasn't like about to throw hands and nothing like that. It was just, that's what came with the territory. You had to have tough skin. You know what I'm saying? You had to, they pick on you, you pick on them. It built your character in a way. You just had to know how to handle that.
Shot. We lived in Newark.
Yeah.
Like that's the hood, you know what I mean? So we would make fun of him, like, what you gonna do with your little stupid headshots? Like, and now look at him.
Now look at him.
Oh, that's pretty cringe. I think it's weird because Michael B. Jordan was a childhood actor. I think he started getting into roles at the age of 9 or something like that. Maybe even a little bit sooner. Started off with some magazine shoots, then rolled into The Sopranos, some other film spots, some TV, etc., etc. But for the most part, him walking around with headshots as an already accomplished and already staged child actor kind of makes a lot of sense. Now, I do want to make a distinction here because I think it comes up later on in the video, and it's kind of important. Her podcast mate is the one that actually calls Michael B. Jordan corny. She just says that they used to make fun of him now and that he was a loser back in the day for having some headshots. Could she have stepped in and defended Michael B. Jordan? Absolutely. But we'll save that for a little bit later in the video. Now, that was on a podcast in which you don't think a lot of people will see, but on the red carpet of Creed 3, when she gets confronted, the conversation quickly goes awkward.
On the Hustle Show, we got Michael B. Jordan, the director and the star of Creed 3. And, you know, we know each other. We go way back all the way to Chad Science in Newark, okay?
The corny kid, right?
No, I did not say that. Misquoted for sure. No, you did not hear me say I said we used to make fun of the name. But yeah, he is obviously killing things out here. How was the difference between you actually directing and working with the same people that you were directed with versus?
It was awesome. You know, it's a family vibe.
Yeah.
Last nine years of my life, I spent on the Creed films. They're very supportive. You know, Tessa, Felicia, Rashad, Wood Harris, people that see me grow up. And for the fact that I stepped behind the camera and finally got a chance to direct them, they loved it, they embraced it, and it was a wonderful experience.
And was it difficult for you mentally because you're coming out of a different space?
I didn't know he was doing the athletic gear. I mean, I was staying in it. This is about y'all. This ain't about me.
Isn't this the sexiest man show off right here? Who's the sexiest man? Because now who's the sexiest man? Because I thought you said you're on the way up. He might be the one right now.
This is the one. This is the one right here. Yeah. See that?
So is it a tie?
Ain't no tie. We don't compete. Yeah, we don't compete.
Two number ones. Batman and Batman. Or should I? Oh, no, can't say that.
Superman and Superman.
Superman and Superman, sorry.
Good luck with that. Love you, bro.
And how was it filming in Atlanta?
It was amazing. I've done 4 or 5 films down here, shot a couple television shows, so Atlanta's a second home to me, and I love coming down here to shoot.
Favorite restaurant here?
Oh, man. Whatever hotel I'm in, their restaurant.
Well, you're not corny anymore.
Well, you're not corny anymore. Talk about cringe Olympics. You scaring the niggas away. Now, a lot of people felt differently in this interaction. Was Michael B. Jordan wrong? Should he be harboring these feelings from high school? Was it also weird for her to do a double and triple down? And I'm no expert. That's why I've decided to tap into my panel of experts, my panelist, singular person of experts, and figure out what they had to say about it. Ladies and gentlemen, Danielle.
Okay.
Danielle, was she wrong for bringing that up on the red carpet, and was Michael B. Jordan wrong for his response?
Well, okay, in her defense, she didn't bring up her bullying him on the red carpet. She was just like, oh, we went to school together. So let me say that. Now, was he wrong? Absolutely not. I stand with him. And I really hate to do that against a black woman, but he was in the right. And so all of my bullies in high school, I want you to know I remember it. And then when you come into my DMs years later with the hey boo, I remember you. So all of that to say, I stand with.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't really have to deal with no bullying in high school and nothing like that. Everybody pretty much rock with me. And I think probably what helped it was that, for one, I finished out my high school years, 3 of my high school years in South Carolina at Dutch Fork. For all my Dutch Fork 2008 class, you know, shout outs to y'all. But, you know, I'm coming from New York or whatever. Nobody really knows me. So back then, when you was going to school in the 2000s, late 2000s, saying you was from New York, or, you know, you being from New York or whatever, kind of got you passes. It got you like, you know, some cool points. It's like, oh, you from New York, so you from a big city. You know, y'all got the style, the finesse, the swag, and all of that. So that definitely helped. And then I was cool at the same time. I wasn't no corny dude. I wore nice clothes. So I didn't really have that issue in high school. I didn't really have that issue in middle school either. I would say there was only like one period in time where things were a little shaky when I was staying with my grandparents back in like the late 90s or whatever. And a lot of that wasn't even my own doing, is because, I wasn't with my parents at the time. You know what I'm saying? So things were a little shaky, but, I managed to bounce back. You know what I'm saying? Got back to the norm for myself. But let me tell you something, man. Like, people got to know when you pick on someone that maybe is less fortunate, that doesn't have what you necessarily have, you got to think about what that does to a person's psychology. You know what I'm saying? Like what that does to them. A lot of these people walking around here that you would deem an asshole or something like that, like, damn, why they like that? Why they always, they might have some childhood traumas that they never got over. Somebody saying something about them or picking on them because they didn't have the latest Nikes and Jordans. Like, I never was that kid that picked on people like that. You know what I'm saying? And I was one of the fortunate kids. Like, my parents kept me in Nikes, kept me in Jordans. I had toys and stuff like that, but I never looked down on any other kids. You know what I'm saying? I just wasn't like that. You know what I mean? But yeah.
It's Michael B. Jordan. In this instance, he was right.
So this picture is just amazing, because imagine being a high school bully and bullying the corny guy, only for him to become a superstar and you being the person to interview him at his red carpet event. All I have to say is show respect to the people around you, because you never know where they're gonna go and who they may become. Apparently, Michael B. Jordan was the butt of the joke. And L'Oreal and Michael B. Jordan used to go to the same school in Newark. Imagine bullying Wallace on The Wire. Even worse, bullying the guy who played Killmonger. You know what sounds way worse? Bullying the sexiest man alive.
Hey, Creed, in case you were confused, that corny ass shit you did is why niggas think you corny. In case you were off a little bit. As to why you niggas keep thinking that money hides corny.
But you just said corny, not negative.
I don't.
You see what I'm saying? Like, you just said corny is not negative.
You said, I don't think it's negative.
What Roy said,
so
it's one of the moments when
because it's your perception of the word. I'm telling you about mine. So I'm telling you my perception of that word. As another nigga they've called corny his whole career is not that.
You don't think that there's like a limitation as to how long that somebody can harbor feelings for somebody, like a bully?
No. Also, I feel like I could personally.
Hey, man, listen. There was a video of Pop Smoke, and rest in peace to Pop Smoke, but there was a video of him out there on, I think it was on Junction Boulevard in Brooklyn. And, he was basically throwing up his set or whatever, letting them know, what time he was on. And apparently, he pulled out his beads or whatever. And I guess that was disrespectful or whatever. And so they stepped on his beads or whatever. And two of the dudes, one of them is deceased, but the two dudes, they basically smacked him and they said Chappelle. That was like a thing going on back in the early 2010s or whatever. And so Pop Smoke held on to that. And a few years later at a 7-Eleven, he caught up with one of them dudes. And him and his boys, they beat the brakes off this nigga. Like, really bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So you can't really tell somebody how long they should harbor on certain things, because we don't know what that essentially did to him. And that video was on WorldStar. It might still be up there. We don't know what that did to him. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, people's childhood traumas, they deal with it in different ways. So, I mean, you can't put a limitation on people being upset about something. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Be a professional grudge holder. And I feel like grudge is almost too strong. I just have a good memory. That's all that is. Why wouldn't I bring it up?
What about the public embarrassment aspect? Now, she did it on her podcast, her publicly syndicated radio show.
Wait, she did what?
Like, that's where they made the initial comments about him being corny, and then her saying that we used to tease him all the time because he wasn't.
My thing is, I know I'm stopping the video, but it wouldn't be a reaction, right? What is this thing with corny? When you say, like, when y'all say corny, what are you talking about exactly is corny? With how he dresses or how he talks or whatever. He's walking around with headshots because he's an actor. He has an agent. He has to have headshots. So in the event, he has to go to something, they have that. You feel me? Like, what's corny about that? What exactly is it that you're doing? You ain't doing nothing but sitting in this classroom getting lectured to while I'm out here getting motion, making moves. And I mean, shout out to her. She managed to get her a podcast or whatever going. So they both, took different directions to end up in the same place. But, to call somebody corny, and I guess we would have to dissect the situation, like what was going on. Unfortunately, we don't have a time machine to go back to when they were in school to hear what was said. But apparently they were saying stuff back then that must have really, really, got to him or whatever. And, yeah.
No Michael Jordan.
That's on her. Now, if you're gonna do that in public, that's on you. And as someone who's in the public eye, you would think she would know that. If you're gonna say that in public, be ready for the public response. That's it.
If it was me, I would have had one of my homegirls beat her up. That's just me. I would have had one of my homegirls.
You're literally just chatting.
I would have had one of my homegirls put the chest blow, arm pull, neck chop.
You're 30. You're 30.
I will say this, and you probably haven't ever seen this. She does go on TMZ and give a little bit more clarity and depth as to what really happened in the situation.
Just the bully narrative is crazy. And the things that people are saying to me, like they hope I get and killed and popped in my head.
That's crazy.
So it's
It
one
ain't that
last.
It's not that damn deep, y'all. I mean, I'll go on record saying I did my 3 years of middle school. I did my 3 years of middle school in Newark at St. Rose, which no longer exists. That school doesn't exist anymore. And all we did in that school is pop shit to each other. That's all we did was joke on each other all day long. From 6th all the way to 8th, that's all we did was just talk shit about each other. You know what I mean? I wasn't really doing it too much in 6th grade, but by 7th grade, when my acne started kicking in and them hormones or whatever turning into a young adult, that's where it really got like, all right, I'm going to have to, let these niggas know, like, look, you ain't about to be sitting up here, joking on me. And luckily, it never escalated to fighting or nothing like that. Not saying that I wouldn't have handled myself, but it's like, that's just what it was back then. You know what I'm saying? But to be talking about doing this type of stuff, is like, that's like 20-something years removed. We're 20-something years removed from that. Like, come on.
Be in the world. Like, I just think, like, if you were upset because you thought I called him corny and those are the things that you're rebuttaling with, it's like the crime and the punishment, that if that's what you thought I said, it doesn't even match up. Like, how is that okay? The narrative is definitely still pushed. I feel like I admitted exactly what I said. And then even those words got turned around. When I told the story, it was super lighthearted. It wasn't even in the sense of me breaking down the entire school experience. FYI, we went to school together for 1 year. So the narrative that I bullied him all throughout high school, this was 7th grade. We were like 12 years old and everybody made fun of each other. And then I
was going to say, like, back then, so, because like I said, I went to school in Newark, so I know what it is out there. You know what I mean? That was just something we did. We used to hike on each other. You know what I'm saying? And it was funny. Like, it built character. Everybody got picked. Got joked on. I'm not gonna say necessarily picked, because picking on someone and joking on someone, to me, is two different things. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, your big nose ass. Like, you know what I'm saying? Look at your nostrils, nigga. Like, that type of joking. Nigga, look at yours. Like, look at you, nigga. The boogers be in your nose rent free, like, or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we would just joke on each other. It was nothing.
would get joked on because of my complexion. And, I went to a predominantly black school. So it's like white girl, oh, your boy, now you're mocking me because of my boy. We made fun of each other. That was school, that was 1 year. Again, I've never bullied him. That just sounds so outrageous to me. Like me bullying Michael B. Jordan his whole life. Wouldn't we have heard about this before this? Yeah, I do feel like he took everything out of it. It gave the Will Smith thing where it's like, he's heard numerous people probably call him this before, because this is not something we haven't heard, right? I just never said it. I've defended him numerous times just because of the fact that I did have a rapport with him. And I never said we were best friends. I never said, we were cool. And that was just that.
That was kind of crazy. Yo, there was so much going on.
Now, of course, you got to say, like, oh, of course, anybody saying that she deserves to DI.
Now, again, I mean, we don't know how Michael B. might have felt about the jokes or whatever. I mean, just maybe that just wasn't his thing, and pretty much I think what might have triggered him is the fact that this was his craft. This is what he loved to do. And I guess for people to be saying stuff about that, he might have taken it a different way. But I'll say this, man. For the people out there that are, attacking her or whatever, these are people that probably didn't grow up in the tri-state. Like, you've never lived in the tri-state. When I say tri-state, I'm talking about New York City, New Jersey, Connecticut, Philly, like them areas. You've never grown up in these cities. Because for those that don't know, this was just a part of the upbringing, the culture of being a kid. You're going to get cracked on. You know what I'm saying? And I know this probably went on in other cities too throughout the United States. But for me, that's what I know. You know what I'm saying? So I got to speak to what I know. That is just something that comes with the territory. But like I said, it builds character. You know what I'm saying? Somebody joking on you, you know, you joke on the back. Like, nigga, look at your nostrils, nigga. Your nose so damn big, it can hold 5 families. You know what I'm saying? Like, just saying whatever. Like, that's just what came with it.
IE is crazy. Of course, that's out of bounds. Now, for what I will say, though, she's listening to internet, bots. Her trying to put her trauma in this situation about her being high yellow is insane. We done with the light skin.
Really. And I'm going to hold every collective light-skinned Black person's hand as I say this. Let it go. Let it go. You're fine. We're fine. It's okay. You got bullied. Sure. Light-skinned, racism, color, it doesn't exist.
Did they ever call you white girl?
They did. They called me Oreo.
Are you still holding on to that? If you see those bullies in the streets?
A little bit.
Oh my God. Oh, wow.
Now, am I going to say something? No.
Oh, okay.
Would I just keep it pushing? Absolutely. Like, if you were on the street and you were asking me for $1, I would not give it to you. But would I say, oh my gosh, you were the bully and that's why you're on the street today? No, I'm not going to do that. I just know in my heart of hearts that you bullied me.
I do think what's interesting, though, is that she claims that she defended Michael B. Jordan in the past and I can acknowledge she wasn't the one that said anything on that podcast specifically about him being corny. That was the podcast mate. But I think in that situation, if you don't believe these things and you've defended him before, that's the opportunity to defend him now. No? Because corniness is a little bit of an attack on his character. If we really want to...
Is it really?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes people are just corny, and that's okay.
But we know that corny has like a negative connotation, and the way that people were using it was negatively. So them saying, or your podcast mate saying that he was corny, all it really took was I don't know about that now. If you didn't even want to get into it in depth. But she didn't even do that. She sat there and then doubled down on it. Yeah, he had them headshots.
Now, in the video, though, that we just watched on TMZ, that was what made me laugh. Was when she was like, I mean, maybe he was triggered because I'm sure other people have said it and I've heard it because a lot of people think
She's trying to get it off.
Crazy style.
Well, now just 3 years later, Michael B. Jordan has now reached another pinnacle of success, 6th Black male actor to win Best Oscar, and she just can't let it go. She is taken back to the timeline, L'Oreal, on another podcast. And I think that's actually the real problem. Everything else, it's not the colored hair, right?
Not too much.
It's not the colored hair.
Her expressing herself.
I swear to you, it's the podcast. It's the podcast and just having mics in front of her. But she sat down on another podcast, the Listen to Black Women podcast. And she talked about how Michael B. Jordan actually should have came on her show and got in front of the bullets that she was getting.
But look at the hypocrisy, right? They're mad at her for saying someone was corny in high school that she didn't even say, and then proceed to say things 1,000 times worse than what she said.
10,000 times worse. Yeah. It's crazy.
That doesn't even make sense. And you didn't even say it, and no one has ever said, hey, our bad. We went back and heard the audio. You didn't say it. It was, and your friend also.
Oh no, people came up to me and was like, oh, you know, my fault. But the disrespect was way louder than the apology. I didn't even, one of my homeboys reached out to me like, oh, Michael said his bad, yo. It was an article he read. He thought you said it. But you went on all these other publications. Not only that, I have a nationally syndicated morning show. Yeah. Come have a seat and talk about it. You know, the thing that hurts from it, and this is why now I watch what I do, because I was defending him a lot. Think about all the people that were saying many things about this man. And I would always be like, nah, da-da-da-da-da. Yeah. Oh, I don't be defending people like that no more.
Who are these people?
You know you can get mics from Best Buy. And you can get them uncomfortable ass chairs from Ross, because that shit look crazy.
Hold on now, because I like to pick up a few items from Ross.
I think there's some lies in there. Nobody that's close to Michael B. Jordan then called you and said, yo, Mike, apologize.
His people reached out to her people.
No, that's cap. And I don't agree with the concept that he owes you a sit down, because the internet ran with the narrative of of, or not even the narrative. The internet did what the internet does. He owes you a sit down to step in front of bullets
now,
that he doesn't know are being made.
Okay, right now I'm of the opinion that she bullied that man, she got called out, and this is the cleanup. But let's say if this was all just a misunderstanding, it was really somebody else, he would owe her an apology and a sit down publicly. He would, because the vitriol started off of the corny kid, right? It did start there.
This is a high expectation of somebody who doesn't know what's going on. Like, he doesn't know her DMs are.
We gotta raise the bar. We gotta raise the bar.
Did she call him and say, "Hey, my DMs are flooded with I got a DIE"? Stop it. Let's stop it.
We don't know.
Let's stop it. No, we know. We know.
Okay.
Yeah, we know, because apparently they were cool, but they weren't cool, and they were only 12.
In 7th grade.
In 7th grade. They were 12. Is that right? 12 and 7th grade?
Maybe.
13,
for
14,
some.
yeah, something like that. Honestly, there's a lot of cap in there. And the last thing that I will say is the whole concept of like, I'm not going to defend people anymore. I'm scared of you. I'm a little bit scared of you.
I feel like that's a valid response.
I don't think it's a valid response.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm saying I do get it. I'm defending this person and all of a sudden I'm being attacked because of this person.
Your defense of a person shouldn't be about the theoretical if something will happen to.
I think maybe if she might have said, when the other chick said he was corny, she probably could have been like, oh no, he wasn't corny or nothing like that. He's an actor. Like, he had to have his headshots. Like, if she had a maybe like done that, it wouldn't have been too bad. But it's kind of like when she called him corny or whatever, you know, it's like she, you know, ran with that or whatever the case may be. But there was a way she could have cleaned that up when she had that podcast before she did the red carpet with him. She probably could have cleaned it up before that even happened. That way, you know, or she could have reached out to him like, yo, you know, I want you to let you know, like, yo, if this ever, you know, hits your ears or whatever, I want you to know that was not me. I tried to, you know, clean it up or whatever. And we wouldn't be having this conversation today. But then again, things happen for a reason, because, hey, we making content about it, right?
Me with this person in the future. Like, if I've done right, wrong, or if I've done right or if I've done good or whatever the case may be, and people are saying bad things about me, and you know that I've done good, you should defend me and not think to myself, maybe if Omar crosses my path in 15 years, will he defend me? You scarred bigger than the situation, I think. I honestly think.
I disagree.
That's gonna stop. Michael B. Jordan not coming on your platform is gonna stop you from defending Mother Mary from the church. Explain that. Disagree or agree with that? Let me know.
I'm saying I disagree in the sense that
Stop.
In the sense that, okay, if you've been burned once, like, you may not be as ready to put your hand back over the fire, even if that's the right thing to do. I'm saying from a human nature sense, like, I get that reaction.
I understand what you're saying. I get the reaction. I think it's an overreaction. And I'm on the outside, so I can tell her, hey, that's an overreaction. No, just as a spectator.
Or what if she's been burned in the past and this was just the extra burn?
I don't think Michael B. Jordan was. She's been burned multiple times before in her life. Is she saying Michael B. Jordan the only person who burned her?
No, that's what I'm saying. We don't know her past. This could have been the straw that breaks.
Let's go to therapy, chat.
Okay.
Let's start going to therapy.
Michael B. Jordan just won an Oscar, and that lady that called him corny, she on podcast talking with some other women, talking about how she didn't really call him corny. He should have retracted that. But my whole thing is she openly admitted to bullying, bro. When you openly disrespect somebody and they call you out on that shit and you get blowback from that, it's not up to that person to make things right with you. Being a disrespectful person, being a bully to somebody, all of that can catch up with you. And when it does catch up with you, you have to handle all of that yourself. Why are you looking at Michael B. Jordan to try to save you for some bullshit that you did? Just because you apologize to somebody doesn't mean they gotta rock with you. Doesn't mean they have to accept it. Doesn't mean they have to do anything in your favor. That's on you. Calling somebody corny or not is semantics. She says she bullied, bro. She said they all did. So he caught you. He's seen you.
Well,
and he said he ain't rocking with you.
I mean, like I said, man, it's kind of unfortunate because, like I said, if he was in fact like getting bullied, according to what, you know, they said, like they bullied him or whatever, and when we got to really define like bully. Like, bully is like, yo, you getting picked on, you getting beat up and all of that, getting your lunch money taken, all of that, getting shoved into, you know, to the lockers or whatever. That's bullying. You know what I mean? Now, joking and cracking jokes on each other, that's a totally different thing. So it's like we really would have to get to the brass tacks of what they talking about. Was Michael B. Jordan really out here getting bullied for real? Like, this was the kid that was in The Wire. You know what I'm saying? He was in Hardball. Y'all remember in Hardball? I went and saw that in the movies. My aunt took me and my cousin to go see that. You know what I'm saying? That was a moment. You had to be there. But when we went to go see Hardball, like at the end of the movie, yo, he was thugged out. He went from playing baseball, he was gangster after that. So it's like, what we talking about? I know it's a movie, but I'm just saying, like, come on, man. I don't take it like him getting bullied like that. I really think they probably just talking about they was cracking jokes on him or whatever. But I would wonder, did Michael B. Jordan, I'm wondering, did he crack jokes back, like crack on their asses too? Like, that's just how we get down back then.
You gotta handle that. You can't say whatever the fuck you want and think that there won't be consequences behind that. You gotta live with that. You gotta eat that.
I think that is another thing.
You see, I know I keep stopping the video. It's almost over, but I just wanted to say, see, it's this type of stuff why, you know, the kids today have a hard time building character and building tough skin because, you know what I mean? Of stuff like, it's like, oh, it's okay for you to feel upset. And again, I'm not saying that. I guess you just got to know who you can do that with and who you can't. And then it's one thing for y'all to pick on somebody or like crack jokes on someone, but y'all embrace them at the same time. Like, yo, that's my people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Only I could, you know, do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. My opinion
that I have issue with. Everybody believes that like if I give some sort of apology, then it shouldn't matter. If I give some sort of, hey, I did do this wrong thing in the past and I'm sorry, that everybody should just give you some sort of forgiveness or grace or whatever the case may be. To be quite honest with you, you lucky Michael B. Jordan even stopped on the red carpet to speak to you, to even have that bit of viral moment to where you can be on these different podcasts and different stuff like that today. I'm getting sick of the internet and the whole like, I apologize, therefore I should be forgiven game, especially with no work behind it.
You're not wrong. But I also feel like that is, I don't know, like the story folks are shown time and time again in books, in movies, in social media. I'm sorry. And then everything is great. It's not real life. You can say I'm sorry. You can do all the things. And yet, at the end of the day, you still harm somebody.
That also happened on a different podcast earlier this week. Oh, actually, it happened on Gil's podcast.
Oh, is he okay?
No, he's fine. But one of the producers made a video mimicking one of the co-hosts for having a speech impediment, a stuttering problem.
Oh.
And this was before he was on the show. And so he had never seen said clip, never seen anything like that until maybe a couple days ago. And then he confronted the dude live on the podcast.
Something recently was brought to my attention that one of the people that works here that we see daily, and I brought this person into my home. Had this person around my wife, my kids, right? Treat them nothing but respect. This is a loyalty situation I want people to, with their kids, right? Teaching situation. When people tell you be careful who you bring into your inner circle. Yeah, motherfucker. Be careful who you bring into your home. This is this situation that I'm speaking of right now. Hey, Suge, come here. Can you explain this video to me?
Yeah, that's the video we talked about.
No, we didn't talk about shit.
Yeah, we did speak about it.
No, you tried to apologize. So.
He can't even get a goddamn sentence out without that's the stutter man. So the stutter man can run the show. And your mark can't fucking talk straight.
So when I brought you into my home, this how you felt?
No, I apologize.
Huh? No, but so this how you felt when I brought you into my home and had you around my wife and kids?
No, that's not how I felt.
So what did you go out your way when someone is showing me love in the moment? You go out your way to disrespect me.
I don't think I was being disrespectful.
Disrespectful? When that's something that I've stated time and time again on this couch. Sensitive subject, Sensitive subject for me, right? I drew a line in the sand a long time ago with this. There's no apology ever that, as an adult, that I will accept for this.
And so to me, there's like this air on social media that like, yo, he apologized, she apologized, we should be able to get over it. But that's not how that works. And especially in that Michael B. Jordan situation where now she's basically clout chasing, because I'm gonna call it clout chasing. He should come on my show. Girl, you're not sorry, you want an opportunity. Like, that's 100% what it is. He just so happened to be the one who broke up out of the system, made it, or, you know, whatever the case may be. And now you want him to give you some shine off of you being familiar with him from back in the day. But you did what you did. You said what you said. And you gotta face what you gotta face. And I think it's really eating her up because he's not really acknowledging it either.
And that's really the rub.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. Y'all bullies. I done forgave a couple of y'all.
Were you bullied? Be honest.
Bullied?
Yes.
I think everybody was bullied to an extent.
Okay. If you...
Yeah, I'm not going cap, sit here and cap. I mean, like I said, when I spoke on that short period of time where I lived with my grandparents, there was a little bit of bullying that I had to deal with. And I think a lot of that just had to do with, just my appearance at the time, because my grandparents, and, God rest their soul, you know what I'm saying? I know they probably didn't know, but, back then, your appearance meant everything when you come to school. When you look a certain way, you'll feel a certain way, you'll act a certain way, and people will treat you, accordingly. Now, you shouldn't necessarily treat somebody a certain way just off of their appearance or whatever, because that doesn't necessarily define a person. But there was that little short period of time where, I was getting, tested or whatever, and people were, and then there's this one kid, his name was English, and he was tall, you know what I'm saying? I don't know where he is in life now, but we was going somewhere. This was like after school program or whatever, and there was these like columns that hold up the roofing, because it was like outdoor, like a college campus almost. And like he had bumped me into one of those joints, and that shit, when I say it hurt bad. And of course I teared up or whatever, and it's just like, yo, I had it with these motherfuckers. So I walked up to him. Nigga was taller than me. I looked him dead in his face, and when I tell you, I'm not lying. If I'm lying, I'm flying. On my great grandmother's grave, I took my hand and I smacked the hell out of him, hard as hell. Like I smacked the shit out of him. And it was a whole bunch of kids. And then after that moment, nobody was fucking with me after that, because they knew it was like, okay, like he's had enough. You know what I'm saying? And not too long after that, I had moved back up north or whatever. And, all of that, like I didn't have to deal with that bullying shit up north. And, because by then I was back to my normal, you know what I'm saying? My hair was getting cut. My clothes was fresh and clean. I had on Jordans and Air Force Ones. Like I was back to me, you know what I'm saying? But, grandparents, they just move a little different or whatever. But, we all went through that period or whatever. But for me, it was short lived. You know what I'm saying? I didn't, and by the time I got to high school, we really wasn't on that shit no more. Like I was just on some like, I'm trying to get the hell out of high school, get my diploma so I can go on about my business. But yeah.
You had to say you were either the bullied or the bully. What would you say you were? Only two options.
Some people would say I was the bully, but I would say that I was.
There we go.
Well, let me finish. So I would say I was the diffuser.
No. Only two options. Only two options in this scenario. Bullied, the victim, or the bully, the perpetrator.
Gaslighter. Yeah, man. For all the bullies out there, I'm gonna teach you a lesson. Don't think that those people forgot.
They didn't. We didn't. They didn't. We didn't.
You were bullied?
I was.
Do you think I bully you now?
Yes.
All right, we done with this.
All right, that's the end of the video. But yeah, I think with the whole Michael B. Jordan situation and calling him corny and all that and all the bullying, I mean, I really think that everybody internalizes these things differently. I mean, for me, I internalized the whole cracking jokes and the little bit of bullying I went through. I internalized it different. You know what I'm saying? I look at some of those people now back during that time when I was living with my grandmother, and they ain't got shit going on. They some bums, for real, for real. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even sweat it, you know what I mean? Because I know I'm him. You feel me? If they saw me now, they'd be like, yo, wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn. You know what I mean? But yeah, everybody just deals with things differently, Congrats to him, winning the Oscar and whatnot. Hopefully this is something that, maybe those two can have a sit down and talk about it later on, and just like, man, it was nothing, no bad blood or whatever. It just comes with the territory. We all crack jokes on each other. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. But y'all let me know down in the comments if I'm tripping. You know what I'm saying? Or you let me know if y'all used to crack jokes on each other when y'all was in school and whatnot, and that was a part of y'all culture. Y'all let me know down below. I'll be sure to link this video in case y'all want to go support him. Check out some of his videos. Support Omizi. If you made it to this part of the video, like I be telling y'all, I appreciate y'all. I know some of y'all don't be watching these videos all the way through. I check my analytics, okay? And some of y'all be tapping out at like 5 minutes. I'm going to need y'all to make it all the way to the end, okay? Because I might say something that might hit you. You know what I'm saying? Something informative. So make sure y'all watch it all the way through. It ain't killing y'all. Y'all ain't doing nothing. Make sure you watch it all the way through. All right? Be sure to sub up to the channel. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what y'all thought about this situation. And with that being said, it's your boy Robbie. And until the next one, we out of here.